Hey guys, it's Maya from Crypto Cafe. I know I haven't made a long video in quite some time. I said this on my Instagram page. I do UGC content and content with other brands, so it has pulled me away from crypto for a bit, but I promise to make more content for YouTube and Instagram this year. Okay, so yesterday the ETF was passed, and I believe 11 ETFs were listed or approved to be listed. Huge milestone. However, this didn't just start recently. I don't know if you guys know that this has been a legal issue for a few years now. And the SEC, they've been awful about it in terms of like these frivolous lawsuits, blocking people, and their excuse is crypto as an asset is, full of scammers, or whatever. But if someone's trying to give a regulated product that is custodied by a safe holder, I don't see what the problem is in that context. Like, okay, you say crypto itself is dangerous, but if you have large institutions willing to custody and offer a product that represents it or is reflective to the assets held on hand, what is the problem? Like, you can't say that this is so bad when people have a solution to socialize it or domesticate the problem. Then I don't like that either. Well, what do you want? Then it becomes really, really weird. So after this was approved, the chair of the SEC wrote a letter, a 4-page letter saying that he still does not endorse Bitcoin. And I wanted to go over that with you guys because I think it's ironic for you to approve something and then go right after say you don't endorse it. But I think it's a CYA moment because he's just done so much crazy stuff. So it's just like, you look kind of foolish in a public setting, and especially with the SEC pre-posting a tweet and then they got hacked. I mean, to me, it looks very messy, it looks unorganized, it looks chaotic. And from the point of them being like a legal organization, they should not feel proud of themselves. And this moment, they didn't do anything. It was all the hard work of the investment firms that set up these ETFs and lobbied and wrote and approached the SEC on numerous attempts to have this passed. So let's just read his letter, which I'm sure is going to be very annoying and make me sigh disgusting sounds for like 5 minutes straight. I hope you guys are starting you're all great. BTW. And un momento. Today, the commission approved the listing and trading of a number of spot Bitcoin exchange traded product ETP shares. I have often said that the commission acts within the law. I want everyone to pause. Because does the commission act within the law? Okay. And how the courts interpret the law. Beginning under Chair Jay Clayton in 2018 through March 2023, the Commission disapproved more than 28 exchange filings for spot Bitcoin ETPs. One of those filings made by Grayscale contemplated the conversion of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust into an ETP, which is, I think they were able to do that. Remember, they sued in court, and this is also what helped all of these exchange traded products pass, was because Grayscale just sued them. They're like, and then the court said that the SEC was acting arbitrary and capricious, and they had no legal finding as to prevent them from having an ETP. There was no legal finding for them to block that. So we're now faced with a set of filings similar to what we have disapproved in the past. Circumstances, however, have changed. Yeah, they were blocked in numerous courts, and a lot of people have been running to the court. There's been a lot of press about the SEC's behavior. So again, they're going to try to take credit for all of this. Everyone did it. Everyone's saying their information on Twitter, everyone sharing, writing to your congressmen, the Congress people, and Congress getting pissed off about the way the SEC is moving. This was all a group effort. And then companies that kept filing, like they're repeatedly filing, were like, no, we believe in this product. We're going to keep filing. This is what allowed it to happen. It wasn't the SEC. They didn't do anything aside from doing their job. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia held that the commission had failed to adequately explain its reasonings in disapproving the listing and trading of the Grayscale proposed ETP. The court therefore vacated the Grayscale order and remanded the matter to the commission. Based upon these circumstances and those discussed more fully in the approval order, I feel the most sustainable path forward is to approve the listings and trading of these Bitcoin ETF shares. And that's what I kind of said with everyone. You have to fight legal with legal. If they're going through all of this hoopla and backlash and trying to condemn crypto for whatever reasons, whether it be because their interest has been bought by, certain banks, like certain banks may be paying people to act a certain way to certain crypto products so they can do what they need and buy certain cryptocurrencies at a lower price. I'm not saying that that's the situation, but that could be the reason why they were acting like this. And it would take you going to court. The commission evaluates any ruling. So yes. So what I was saying is that everyone needs to fight fire with fire, fight legal with legal. If they're, upholding these things, they legally cannot do that. If you don't have a reason to say why this product, if you don't have a legal response as to why this product is dangerous, ill-suited, ill-formed, then you're acting within your self-interest to deny something. And that's one thing you guys have to remember. The SEC does not think that people will sue them in court. The SEC does not think that people will respond because of their identity and role within the finance community. However, they cannot bully people. That is not what they are there to regulate and protect the markets. They are not to bully and manipulate the markets for their benefit and whoever they see. They're not allowed to pick winners and losers as well. So people who say that the SEC is acting in their best interest, they're really not gauging this from a world lens. And that's why we're here where we are today. So a lot of people will ignorantly say the SEC has been doing its best. The SEC has been doing what's fair and legal, what's right. That's just not true. It's just not true. Sorry for the rant, but you know how I feel. So the commission evaluates any role filing by the National Security Exchange upon whether it's consistent with the Exchange Act and regulations thereunder, including whether it's designed to protect investors and public interests. The commission is merit neutral and does not take a view on particular companies, which investments or assets underlying the ETP. If the issuer of a security in a listing exchange complies with the Security Act, the Exchange Act, the commission's rules, and the issuer must provide the same access to regulated markets as anyone else. Importantly, today's commission acts as the ETP holdings one non-security commodity, Bitcoin. In no way, this should in no way signal the commission's willingness to approve listing standards for the crypto asset securities, nor does the approval signal anything in the commission's view as a status of other crypto assets under the federal securities law or about the state of non-compliance of certain crypto assets in a particular market with federal security laws. It's a very tricky statement. So they're trying to say, we're not supporting crypto. However, we're legally mandated at this point to pass the ETF, which probably is true, right? But that's the issue. If you were legally mandated to do something, how do we know the way you've been acting in the lawsuits that you're brought forth have been within the name of the law or what's supposed to help the markets? And that's why this gets a little really weird. And I really think the SEC should be reviewed because we shouldn't have to sue. We shouldn't have to go to court for this to happen. This is ridiculous. And I think the first ETF that was ever filed was in 2013 by Genesis. That was never, approved. But that's darn near 10 years of waiting for, you know what I mean? Like that's odd. And this is pretty much unheard of when it comes to ETF filings. As I've said in the past, without prejudging one crypto asset, the vast majority of crypto assets are investment contracts, thus subject to security law. He's so ignorant because they're not investment contracts, honey. No one signed a contract. You can sell it anytime. I don't know why he chose this moment to do that. It's very ignorant. Investors today can already buy and sell otherwise gain exposures to Bitcoin at a number of brokerage houses through mutual funds or national security exchanges, through peer-to-peer payment apps, and non-compliant crypto trading platforms. He's so rude. And of course, through Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Today's actions will include protections for investors. First, sponsors of the ETP will require to provide their full, fair, and truthful disclosures about the products. Investors in any Bitcoin ETF that is listed and traded will benefit from the disclosures, including the public registration statements, required periodic filings. While those disclosures are required, it is more important to note that today's actions does not endorse the disclosed ETP arrangements, such as custody arrangements. And see, this is funny too, because this is the issue I have with this situation. And again, we're going to stop right here. So I think ETFs are great for the generalized community. For the individual retail trader, I want everyone, you should be holding crypto, not your keys, not your crypto. It applies. And even in this situation, if you're working somewhere and, your company's going to do a 401k match, they're doing 20%, however, 10%, that's great. Let them match it and then give you a Bitcoin ETF, borrow against it. Not investment advice, but I'm just saying, why not, right? But
again, this is the only issue I have with these products is I have read through some of them and their custody arrangements concern me, and what they can do with the underlying asset concerns me, but that's not today's video. But to me, it's funny that he noted that it's employed today to note that the action does not endorse the arrangement such as self-custody. And I feel like in this situation, if something went wrong, they're going to be like, well, we didn't tell you to go. We didn't support that. And that's just like, okay, well, you guys should be facilitating. And that's one thing I feel like the SEC should be in charge of, having a set guideline or basis as to the custody arrangements for each ETF that should be aligned. Like, it shouldn't be a free will situation. It should be like, we have it through a third party custodian. We are aware the custodian cannot do anything aside from hold it. Like, that's it. And those should be set standards. I don't think that they did that. And I don't like that too, because then they're going to be like, well, we told you not to buy this product. We didn't endorse it. And it's just like, at one point when you're trying to be vindictive, do you not realize that your job is to protect? The way you can protect is by facilitating ownerships of certain parts of these products. So that's scary to read. Second, these products will be listed and traded on registered national security exchanges. Such regulated exchanges are required to have rules designated to prevent fraud and manipulation. We will monitor them closely to ensure that they are enforcing those rules. Furthermore, the Commission will fully investigate any fraud manipulations in the securities market, including schemes that use social media platforms. So that's ironic. I hope they'll investigate themselves for what happened the previous day before. So the SEC posted that the ETFs were approved like a day before, and they weren't, and they're saying that they got hacked. But I think based upon previous laws or rules that they committed or created, they're supposed to be responsible for the security within their social media accounts. So with that being said, I hope they take the time to investigate themselves and hold themselves accountable for the failure of allowing that to happen. Idiots. Furthermore, the existing rules and standards of conduct will apply to the purchases and the sales of the approved ETPs, including regulation, best interest, broker-dealers recommended ETPs to investors, as well as fiduciary duty under the Investment Advisors Act for investment advisors. Today, the action does not improve or endorse crypto trading platforms or intermediaries, which for most part are non-compliant with federal security laws and often have conflicts of interest. Third, Commission staff is separately completing a review of each registration statement for 10 spot ETFs simultaneously, which can help create a level playing field for issuers and promote fairness and competition, benefiting investors in the broader market. Since 2004, this agency has experienced overseeing non-security commodity ETPs, such as those holding precious metals. That experience will be valuable in our oversight of a spot ETP trading. Though where merit neutral lies, I note that the underlying asset in metals and ETP has consumer industries uses, while contrasting Bitcoin is primarily speculative. God, Jesus. A volatile asset that is also used for illicit activities, including ransomware, money laundering, sanction evasion, terrorist financing. What? So So if you think this is used for those things, why would you endorse it? Like, why would you put it through? That's what I understand. You signed off on this. You can't be half in and half out. And that's the issue I have with them. They make nasty comments in public, but in the back room, they're making deals and approving these things. And it's just like, you're confusing the general public. I believe that's market manipulation. Please do not make negative connotation statements not rooted in fact for a whole asset class. Banks have been used for money laundering, sanctions, and terrorist financing. Have they not? Does money not get laundered through banks? It does. So would you say that banks are tools, or rather they are a vehicle in which anything can go through them, some good, some bad? Their language to me is always so like, and then this is these sound clips that I hear within the community. And when I'm going to explain crypto and Bitcoin and different products, people are like, well, those are what scammers use. And I have to fight those preconceived notions. And it, and then I'm dealing with being discredited in that context when I'm talking about the underlying asset and the technology used for it. When you have people in these high positions making these non-relevant statements, and it's very frustrating. So this letter was just what I thought it was. It'd be Gary Gensler eating his own words while trying to discredit an asset class that he approved. So yeah. Anyway, I think he's just upset that he had to do this. I think he's upset that basically the whole industry went above his head and said, no, we're going to do this. And he had no choice, because if he didn't do it, it literally could have been a situation where, like, legally, they were going to get sanctioned. So the SEC almost got sanctioned. And there's numerous people saying, hey, what's going on? Why isn't this being approved? What reason? The same thing with the XRP lawsuit. They had to prove that the founders were acting in bad faith and did all these things. And then they dropped that second lawsuit because they could not find it. And I think that's what we're starting to see with a lot of these SEC lawsuits. They're just allegations. They're just allegations because they don't think anyone is going to go up, face them in court. So if you don't think anyone's going to, it's like when you sue someone that doesn't have the legal responses or the legal funds to sue you back, you're going to win by default, right? That doesn't mean that the other person has committed a crime or done anything, but they know that you're less legally aware, or you have less legal knowledge. So you're going to pay the fine, accept the charge, go whatever. No, people need to stop doing that. Fight the SEC, sue back, fight back, do something, because they can't sue everyone. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have the legal, and eventually the courts are going to be sick of these silly lawsuits being brought to court. There's only one SEC, but there's hundreds of groups, organizations, and blockchain-based firms and companies. So, this made me have a lot of respect for our judicial system, that I was like, about. So I think that's cool. And I'm just very excited to see what comes out of this. Okay. Thank you guys for watching this. Bye-bye.